Hello, 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 Mr. Conversation with Trent. How you doing?
What's going on? Good, good. Can't call it my spoiler. What's going
I
on with
needed that music. I'm telling you, it kind of got me hyped.
you? Is
I
that
wasn't
right? Is that
feeling
right?
it. I wasn't feeling tonight. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm gonna be honest. I almost hit the "I'm not doing this" button,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Everything good?
but it's all good. Yes, it's all
Good,
good.
good, good, good.
It's a reminder that you have to push through, right?
You have to. You have to.
Have to push through. Even when you
Absolutely.
feel you don't have it to give, sometimes you can do it. So
Yeah.
we are here. Thank you guys for joining us. I have made sure that the video is up on Facebook. So I need nobody to text me tonight and say, "Where are y'all?" We are here. I see it.
Good
I
stuff.
see it. So welcome. Thank you guys. You're listening to Relationship Table Talk by way of B2G Unity TV. We are representing that we are always, always better together.
Together.
Together. So we're
Good
going to
stuff.
cut the division cake tonight. Every episode, we're going to cut a piece of the division
Good stuff.
cake, pie, whatever it is you eat. So again, thank you guys for joining us. Keep the comments, or not keep, but bring the comments and then keep them coming. I'm excited about this topic. I heard, I probably should have invited her. I heard Lala, who was on, what was her topic? Help me. Love hasn't been kind, has never been kind to me. I
Right,
think the
right. Yep.
topic was. So that's what we're talking about tonight, struggle, love.
Good stuff.
Um, I'm going to housekeeping things, trash can baby. I can't say it enough because as we promote that we're better together, the best version of better together is me being better myself, doing what it takes, bringing that chisel, as Trent says, doing the work, looking in the mirror, owning what I see. You don't have to accept what you see, but you do have to own in order to create that plan to do better so that we can do better together. So it all starts with you and change. You have to be open to change. One of the things that we do to promote change is we ask that you move your trash can. How silly does that sound if you're hearing it for the first time? But what it did for me was it helped me think about the things that I think about, the things that I keep, the things that I had gotten used to just because, or accepted in a way, just because it was what I knew. I had been accustomed to the drama, my pain, my emotional ways, and all those things. I had become addicted to them. So change was not one of those things I thought about. I had to be so intentional, but I didn't do it until I got tired of being tired of feeling the way that I was feeling about life, about people. No matter what I did, it seemed like nothing worked. And it was because you guys, I wasn't working. I wasn't working. No matter how much you go out to crank a car, if it doesn't have a motor in it, that baby can be shiny, pretty. But if you put that key in and turn it, it
Ain't
ain't
going
gonna crank up.
nowhere.
So I wasn't cranking up. It's not gonna crank because so it can't go anywhere. So I wasn't cranking up every day. So, but I had a motor in me that worked. I just didn't know it. I just didn't know it. So once I did the work, and I still have to do the work, like today has been a crazy day for me, but I had to be intentional about what I choose. What will I choose this day? And how will I embrace this day? So that you have the ability to do no matter what. So the trash can, we ask that you move it, preferably one that you use quite often. Move it to a different location and then monitor how often you return to the location that you moved it from and allow that to um, just simmer. And then you think about why. Like I personally moved it. I know I moved it, But why am I going back to where it was? Because it's so easy to get caught up in cruise control, autopilot mode, where you set that thing and you have to do nothing but sit back, watch out
Yep.
every now and then, maybe make some adjustments. That's it. So do that. Share your stories with us. Allow your kids to do it. Talk about transformation. Talk about thoughts um, with your children because we have a responsibility. I personally feel that I have a responsibility to be a better person, a different person for those young people who are looking at me so that they may own their stuff and have less stuff to own sooner than later. So, Brother Trent,
What's going on?
struggle love is what's going on. Struggle love is what's going on.
Struggle love. So when I asked you what you were doing today, I did a little
Hmm.
research on it. I never heard of struggle love. I never heard about it. So as I did the research and reading up on it, I was like, wow, I was in the middle of struggle love a couple of times on this road called life. I
Do you
did, but
remember hearing Lala say it on that show?
I
That
heard her
that
say it. I
okay.
heard her say it, but it didn't pique my interest until you said you want to do something on struggle love. I was like, oh, okay.
And that was
And
the first time that I remember hearing it.
right,
That was the first time for me that I do remember hearing it. And then I think I saw a post of hers talking about struggle love. But what was
right.
interesting about struggle love is that it's so I'm just going to read the description that I put out there for struggle love because it
Hmm.
was interesting to me too. I like defining things, you guys. If you don't do that, you're selling yourself out, so to speak. That was last week's topic. Because even the words that I think I know, once I look them up, do some research,
Something totally different.
man,
Yeah.
it's a different. Yeah, it brings on a different meaning for me, a better understanding. Maybe that's what I should say.
Right.
So, struggle love is a term that has surfaced. It's a fairly new term to describe a woman who constantly finds herself in relationships with men who do not have their affairs in order. So it's a new term to describe once again. They do a lot of describing for us,
Right.
or we do a lot of describing for ourselves because I don't think a man created this. I don't think this started with a man. I bet you a woman's like, I'm tired of
Right.
struggling to love, to find love, to be in a relationship.
Well,
So after you did the research, what did you think?
I agree with the majority of it, but I'm always talking about the shared responsibility, right? At
Hmm.
some point, if you can continuously, repetitively, over and over again, different person, same situation, you got to start looking inward. You got to start looking inward. You can't always be pointing at folks, man. That goes for men and women. And it's funny that this topic is about struggle love tonight. I was speaking with a friend of mine who recently come through a relationship and it was very turbulent
Hmm.
after 10 years and they split less than a year. She was in another relationship.
So you were talking to the man or the woman?
Talking to the woman.
Okay.
So she's a very good friend of mine. So I was like, hey, she said, hey, what you talking about tonight? I said, well, I'm on with Tammy tonight. We're talking about struggle love. And she just recently split with the guy who was actually the leftovers. You follow what I'm saying? So the guy came in on the heels of her breakup.
Of her breakup. Okay. Okay.
Exactly, like about 6 months. Not even 6 months. I was like, yo,
Oh,
what is it,
wait,
man? I said, you might want
y'all.
to slow
See?
down, man.
Wait. See? Hold on. Hold on. Look, two glasses. This is kind of what day I had. Okay. I just want y'all to know I got two. I got one on and one right here. Okay. Go ahead.
It's all
Struggle
good.
on.
So so as I'm talking to her, I said, hey, matter of fact, I just sent her the link. I just remembered to send her the link, so I sent her the link. And I told her, I said, listen, you might want to listen to that because Tam's going to be dropping some jewels. And you just come out of a situation. Now, your first situation was lukewarm, still lukewarm. You was just coming out of that boiling hot water and jumped in another pot. And she's a wonderful person, man. Wonderful person, but she just happens to be struggling through love. Same
So
situation, different person.
same situation, different guy. You mean basically
That's it.
different guy, right?
Yeah,
Um, so a couple of things I do agree, and in most cases, most topics such as the one we're talking about tonight, you guys, if you have not, um, I guess, realized it, we always bring it back to you because if
exactly.
you are finding yourself consistently in relationships, and let me say this before anytime you are building something together or becoming one, there is going to be a level of struggle, if
Right,
that is the proper word. But for the sake of tonight's topic, I'm going to use the word struggle because
right,
you are blending. Imagine, I don't know why I'm baking tonight. Imagine when you put the ingredients in a bowl, you
right,
have to stir that thing up to get the correct consistency in order for it to
right.
bake properly. So when you are one plus one merging together, there is no way that you will not have some things that you may feel is a struggle. But if you get with a guy and there is an understanding of where we're going, what we are doing, what are
Right.
my needs, what are some of the things I want, what is important to me. We're not communicating enough on the front end.
Exactly.
We're sexing, is that a word? So we are getting together, we are shedding juices and things like
Right.
that, and but we're not having a conversation about what is
At
it
all.
that you want. Who are you? What has your life been like? And if you're not having that conversation with someone that you plan to have children with or already had them, or are you going to be under one household together? Trust me, all the things you missed, which in today's world we're missing much of them because we're not talking, all
Absolutely.
those things you missed are going to come up. They're going to come up. So if a man doesn't have his affairs together and you don't find that out until you're in it, or after the sweat dries, come on right, Trent, after the
You're
sweat
right.
dries,
After the sweat dry,
then
you making that
whose
decision
fault
after the
is
sweat
that?
dry.
Whose fault is it? And you can't say he played you because somewhere you went on the court to be played and you knew
Exactly.
you were doing it.
Here's the thing. I'm glad you give me that alley real quick. So as I was talking to my friend, telling her about the show for tonight, the topic for tonight, right? I said, and I told her, I said, listen, I said, you gave him the playbook. The second guy, the second guy, I said, you gave him the playbook. She said, what do you mean? I said, everything that number one did you gave the playbook to number two. Now you're in a similar situation. In a different pot, same boiling hot water. Same boiling hot water. You're in a different pot, same boiling hot water. Just a little more spicy. But she gave him the blueprint
Why is it a little bit more spicy?
because he adding to it. Now he's adding to that gumbo pot.
You know why
Gumbo
I think
pot of trouble.
it's a little bit more spicy? Because I'll go back and I'm gonna have to do a show on this, the shiny object syndrome. We don't know how to be at peace. We don't know how to choose something
That's
or
right.
someone and be okay with our choice and allow
And
that
this is
to
what this
grow.
is why I suggested her check out your show because she needed to hear this from a woman. I've been talking to her for the past 14, 15 years about all these different situations, right?
Hmm.
That one
Hmm.
situation that lasted like 10 years, and then this second guy, he came on the heels of the breakup of that 10-year thing. She needed to hear this from a woman. So hopefully she's actually listening because I sent her
Because
the link.
here's what's going to happen. You said, what was the word? I said shiny object syndrome, meaning that we like new things.
Yeah,
And we have to find a way to, I do agree, relationships will grow stale, but you have a responsibility to wake it up. You have a
exactly.
responsibility to do that
Now, but
because
hold on a
the
second
next
though.
person that you go to, hold on, the next person you go to, it's going to be the same thing at some
Same thing
point.
is
And
gonna
if you
repeat
can't
itself.
bounce back from that, You're going to be bouncing for the rest of your life from relationship to relationship, from struggle love to struggle love. Let me say that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Exactly. You got to let that thing breathe, man. And I've learned that over the course of my life. You have to allow things to breathe. The moment I started and I allowed things to breathe, things started opening up for me.
Wait a minute. What is he? Alvin says,
What do
time
you
for
say?
me to put my trash can on the side of the road. Why? Did you move your trash can? Did he do it?
We're gonna talk about that off air, but he
Oh,
brought the trash can back in.
oh,
He brought the
not
trash
that
can
trash
back
can.
in.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, Mr. Alvin. Let me take your comment off before somebody sees it.
Nah, he good. He no, he's good. He's good. He's good.
Okay, and we have Marilyn says, give yourself time to breathe between relationships. Enjoy spending time with you. So important. So I think that's another reason we just
Right.
jump and jump and jump to relationship or to man after man and find ourselves struggling
Absolutely.
because you don't know what you want or who you want until you know who you are.
Exactly. Here's where the rose colored glasses become blurred a little more, right? So as I was speaking about my friend, so that shoulder to lean on and that ear to listen to, she was just giving him the blueprint of what to do to her.
Oh, meaning
Again, I'm
telling this guy about her
exactly,
relationship with
exactly.
that guy.
I'm gonna
Okay.
repeat this again so the ladies can hear that. That shoulder to lean on, that ear to listen to, that comforting hug, all that stuff. And as you're doing that pillow talk in the wee hours of the morning, you're crying on the shoulder, you're giving that man blueprint. You're giving him the blueprint to do exactly what the other
Mhm.
guy did to you. You
That
give
pillow
him the
talk will
blueprint.
make you go to sleep and wake up and like,
Boom, boom.
boom. So if you haven't talked at the table, don't talk on the pillow in the bed. Don't.
That's a
You got to
dangerous
take
conversation on that
responsibility
pillow
of
talk.
yourself. Yes,
That's a dangerous
dangerous because you're
conversation.
not
Dangerous
thinking
conversation.
with the right pieces of your body. You're not thinking with your mind or your heart.
Exactly.
Um, you're not. What's the word? There's a proper word for this. I can't think of it, but you're not thinking properly in the correct way.
Not at all.
Um,
And especially when you're going through something emotional like that, you have to give yourself time to breathe. That's the only way you'll be able to get past that. Give yourself some time to breathe and move forward. You can't collect these items and throw all that stuff in the gumbo pot. Yeah, it's a nice pot of gumbo, but it's mixed in it with a whole bunch of different shit.
yeah, yeah. And if you're struggling with yourself, meaning, and again, because again, we go through seasons in life where we feel off and so forth. But if you are at a point where life is just a struggle, it's not time for you to be in a relationship. Now, if you're in a
Right,
relationship and there's that season where you are going through something, I won't say going through, growing through and transforming, and you are
right,
verbalizing, you have verbalized with your mate, hey, this is not about you. I don't know what, because we have to say those things. That's different. But if you're struggling with being happy with who you are and where you are
right,
in life, if that guy does not know that and is accepting and said, I'm gonna ride or die with you through this thing, then again, it's
right.
on you.
Do me a solid real quick. Do me a solid, totally off base here. Do me a solid real quick. Explain a little bit of the trash can and the method of it. Just a little bit.
So again, it is basically for you to welcome or to acknowledge the need for change because think about this. You move your trash can mentally, physically, you can see that you've moved it, you've walked through this process. Yet, you will find yourself going back to where you moved it from to dump your trash. And you got to take your trash to the new dumpster if you're changing your life. I'm sorry, you got to take it to the new place.
So you can't go back to the side of the road where you normally place your
Right.
trash.
You can't move and go back to where you used to live. You can't sell your house and buy a new one and go back to the old one and put the key in there. You just can't.
You're talking. You're
You
talking now.
can't.
Good stuff.
You have to do the work. You have to. My goddaughter said one, and you guys probably heard this. She said, just because, how did I say? Just because, wait a minute, let me get this right. It was about the car being in the garage. Just because if you, I'm gonna have to get it right. I'll get it before the end. I got to think about it. But
Right.
basically, what she was saying was, we are not who we think we are. Just because you feel some kind of way about yourself, some of y'all pick struggle love again because you're struggling with loving yourself. And then to flip this thing a little bit, Trent, I think it's more about power struggle.
I agree. I could agree
Now
with that.
that'll change the show, because what I mean by power struggle, ladies, I think we need to stop fighting our men.
Mm.
Let them have it. Let them mess up to
Hold on.
a degree.
Let me sip this chai tea because I'm gonna sit on the side with this and let you talk to the ladies real quick. I'm gonna
I
sip this
believe
chai.
that much of the struggle is coming from, we are simply out of order. As a woman and as a man, we are simply out of God's divine order. Period. We could end the show there. So yes, there's a lot of struggle coming on, because I'm not going to try to make this pretty. Ladies, we cannot do what they do. Period. And if we do it, it's going to be so different till it changes the
Right.
whole thing.
That's right.
And I'm not saying that we are less than. I'm more saying we are better
You
than.
know,
I
it's
think
funny
we're
that you
better
would
than.
say that. It just
What's
struck
that?
a thought, a past thought. Greg and I used to have these conversations every Friday. We'd have Friday dinner every Friday, right? So we talk about the difference between a woman and a man, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Greg would always say, "Man, women cannot do what a man do," and it never dawned on me what he was talking about, until late years later when you say it. I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Women cannot do what a man do. Like a man could actually go out to a nightclub and do all that other stuff. He's viewed different. The first time a woman go and she completely continues to go to that nightclub, she's gonna be stamped as a street woman." So he was making a point that a woman cannot do what a man do, physically or how society view him. I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. A woman cannot do what a man do. So if that a man's place is in a home to run the house, lead the home, let that man be a man. You can't.
And I get that, totally agree. I'm not going to even try to, because I can't. I don't know why it's like that. And at
Exactly.
this point in life, it doesn't really matter to me, because I've come to a point where it is just that way. And
That's
I'm
right.
okay. I'm okay with it. I'm not going to
That's right.
fight you. And that doesn't mean I'm going to always shut up either. But
Exactly.
I'm not going to fight you.
But here's the thing, and this is the perfect time for me to pose this question to you, right? So I was having a conversation on the conversation with Coach D and a couple of ladies over there last Wednesday, and no Sunday, no last Wednesday I believe it was, and I was telling them that if a man stands in his masculinity, if he stands masculine,
Hmm.
10 toes down in his manhood, a woman will not play with him. Say what you will, say what you want. That man gonna say what he say. He's not gonna go back and forth with her, and she's gonna respect that. He's gonna be very respectable. He's gonna take in consideration what she's talking about and add her voice to the conversation to make the decision. But he's gonna stand 10 toes. If he's standing 10 toes down as a man, there's nothing gonna be said about
I
that.
will say that for sure, and I know you didn't say all. The woman who understands
Thank you.
the divine order and
You
is
get it
respectful and loves herself, loves her man and her family,
exactly.
understands all of that. For the most part, she's gonna go with the flow.
Exactly.
If
Because
the
like
flow is flowing, you know what
exactly.
I'm
And then
saying?
let's
There's
if
gonna
we're
have
gonna
to be
get biblical,
conversations when it's not.
if we're gonna get biblical with this, here's the thing. Like, let's just say, right? I'm in a relationship and we're making life decisions. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna take consideration everything you bring to the party. That's why I'm marrying you. Everything you bring to the party. I respect your opinion. I respect the way you run things when I'm not around. I respect that. But at the end of the day, When I'm making life decisions for my family, and when it's time for me to meet my maker, I'm responsible for that. That's
Yeah.
me. I'm responsible for that. She's not going to be there with me while I'm being judged. If we're being biblical about this, you know what I'm saying? So, just like you said, the divine order is completely in disarray. Completely
Um,
disarray. Allow a man to be a man, but you have to be the right man will show up when the right woman does. Simple as that.
you say that again?
The right man will show up when the right woman does.
When the right woman does.
Absolutely. When the right woman does, the right man will show up.
So
You always talking about
are you
pretty
basically
much
saying
have
when
your
a
shit
woman
together. The
when a
man
woman
that has his shit together, the man that has his shit together, he's gonna see it.
see, I get that, but I do feel when the woman becomes the right woman for herself,
That's what I'm saying.
and that's what you're saying. Um, the right she won't fall for the wrong man.
Thank you.
Okay, so maybe that's a because we as women, I feel that we have put so much of our value, meaning who we are, is attached to if we have a man. So that
Right.
leaves us being open to any old man, just as long as I can get one, get married, have kids, buy this house, buy this car, we go on these trips. But you're spending three, four, $5,000 on a trip that you barely talk on,
Exactly.
that you rarely enjoy. You're just going so that you can snap the pictures and post them and all of this. But what's happening behind the scenes?
Right.
What's happening? What's really going on in your
You
heart?
know what? You know what
So
confused
let
me?
me read this comment before
Go ahead.
I've had it here. Good evening, Trent and Tammy. I agree with you, Tammy. If you are not happy with yourself and not loving yourself, you do not need to be in a relationship until you truly love you. Once you
Absolutely.
do, I feel you will not draw that. That's what we struggle energy, struggling
Good
energy. There
stuff.
you go. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you,
How
Miss
you doing,
Davis.
Miss Davis? Good stuff.
Glad to have you back. I'm sorry, you were going to say.
Here's the thing. This is what confuses me with some women. I got to be careful with that. Some women,
There you
they're
go.
always saying what type of man they want. What about the type of man that you need?
I'm going there.
What about the type of man that you need? You're always saying what I want. He has to be 6'5" and he has to have a chiseled abs and all this other stuff. Well, maybe your person is a little overweight, right up under 5'10", but that's your soulmate. Maybe that's the man you need. Maybe that's your person. So the person you want, it's not it. What about the person you need? That's the
Because you know
question.
why? Because and I'm glad that's exactly one of the places I wanted to go tonight, that we have to think about the man, that why we chose the man that we ended up struggling with. Like
Mm,
what were some of his qualities about him that made you say, if you even thought about qualities,
exactly.
if you talked about them, or if you, I shouldn't say talk, but recognized some of his qualities, that would say, wow, he would make a good father, he would make a good husband because he's a good person,
I
he's
tell you something
faithful.
funny. You'll get a kick out of this. When I was talking to my friend after this turbulent situation she's coming out of, right? And I pulled a U on her. I said, "Tell me something." She said, "What?" I said, "What good qualities did guy number one have to make you stay in that relationship over 10 years? And what good qualities does the boil over guy, again, the boil over guy, had that made you rush into a relationship with him? What good qualities did you see that drew you to that?" She couldn't answer.
It's another question, a good question, comeback question for or from that question.
Right.
What are you lacking? Not because I think we have to we got to start internalizing everything. So,
Right.
to my sister, if you're listening, what is it that you feel you lack? Because sometimes the brother or the sister that we leave, because they had to have some kind of something, whether it was
Right.
just a sweat or whatever. Hopefully, you saw some kind of some good qualities in them.
Right.
But I said I think the last show we did that until I started to have a relationship with myself,
I
every
remember you saying
relationship
that.
that I've had has not been one. Because if I'm not showing up with my authentic self, regardless of what you do and how you do it, that I can for the most part keep control and stay in my lane of Tammy,
That's
then
right.
you're not getting the best of me. And if you're not getting the best of me, we're not getting the best out of this relationship.
That's right.
And so I have to take 100% responsibility for that because I did not show up. Now, flip side to that, if I show up and if I give you all of me, if I decide to walk away, baby, you could go get Key Sweat, what's the Jaheim,
Make you
everybody.
laugh.
You
Make you
could go get
laugh.
Denzel, who I'm gonna marry one day. You can you can go get all those people. I ain't coming back. Cause bruh, all of me didn't work and I have no more to give
Right.
than all of me.
Right.
It stops right there. It's done. So sometimes we will flip flop and stay because we know we've not given all that we have. So there may be a chance. But if you don't get to the point where you can give all that you have, that chance is just going to continue to minimize
Exactly.
if
And
and then die.
this is what when you talk about going back and forth with yourself, I like to call it you're negotiating with yourself. You're negotiating with yourself to giving yourself the reasons why you should keep him.
Mm-hmm.
Giving yourself reasons why you should keep those rose colored glasses on. Go figure. Always
Because if you
negotiating.
take them off, you have to see yourself.
Exactly.
Because if again, when you keep going from struggle love to struggle love, a couple of things are going to happen. But also, most cases, we take this struggle into the new coming struggle, and then the struggle is really real. And at some point, you're going to have to get tired of Jody and Johnny and Mike. You're going to have to get tired of those people.
That's
So,
a whole bunch of souls.
you know what? You're going to have to carry this conversation for a minute because my computer battery is about to die. So, talk them through. I'll be right back.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Well, appreciate you guys tuning in tonight while Tammy take care of some maintenance and all that good stuff. But while I have you here, you guys can actually jump on over after the show or during the week. B2G Unity TV is now on the Roku channel. So you guys could see us 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, we stream from documentaries to podcasts with conversation with Trent and friends, as well as What's Your Story with Tammy Gaitor, and right here, Relationship Table Talk. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day on the Roku channel, B2G, via B2G,
I'm
UnityTV.com.
back.
Good
I'm
stuff.
tired. I had to run downstairs.
I was just doing my cheap infomercial.
You was doing a commercial
Yeah,
on
yeah.
conversation with Trent.
No, no, no,
I'm about
on
to invoice.
everything. I
I
can
was gonna
actually
say I'm about to
stream and
invoice you for that. Oh, I did good. Y'all ran.
good
Okay,
stuff. Good
so
stuff.
where did we stop? Let's see. Let's get some comments in so I can catch my breath, y'all. That's really why I want to get some comments in. Um, Here we go. So Miss Brenda says, my brother used to always say men will not change until the woman does. Meaning until women stop accepting any and everything, the man will continue to
Pretty
treat
much.
you any and every kind of way. Wow.
Wise brother.
So true. My grandmother used to have this thing. Um, the dog can't play if the cat's basically not out there.
Right.
Um, You were talking a little bit earlier about, I think we were men, how the difference in men and women. And I had this thought, but I never spoke it. But you make me think about as it relates to sexual encounters. And I would always hear this, that a man, just talking about the difference in men and women, like we can't do what they
Mhm.
can do.
Right.
A man, I used to hear this, a man can sleep with a woman, get up, go home, and
Absolutely.
it's nothing to him.
Absolutely.
Nothing to him.
Absolutely.
And I think for the most part, we as women, once we go there, it takes on another perspective. Now, I'm not saying every
Yeah,
man
it's,
is
it's,
that
it's a
way.
whole it's a whole dynamic for
Yeah,
women.
it's a love story. It's a
Yes.
love story.
So,
And for a man, it's a sex story.
and that's honestly, and I got to be transparent. I didn't learn that until I started talking to you and speaking to you about my comings and goings, and some of the things that you would say to me hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, wow. I was like, this woman is really right. How is when you open these women up? I was very, very careless with a ton of women hearts and all the stuff over the years. I'm opening all these women up. I'm opening them up to me,
Oh, okay.
but I'm
Okay.
not I'm not opening myself up to them.
Right.
I destroyed a whole bunch of women, man, a ton of women. And I was very careless with it. I didn't realize the power I had. Actually, no, let me clear that. Let me correct that. I knew the power I had. I just used it for the wrong reasons. So I didn't start the light bulb moment for me didn't come on until later on in life. I'm like, wow.
Basically, what you're saying, because I know you had lost me for a minute there, but and correct me if I'm wrong.
Go ahead.
Basically, especially for the men who are listening, when you hurt a woman, when you hurt a woman, when you break a woman's heart,
You're breaking her in two.
you are breaking. And I think I heard Brandon say this. You are killing a nation basically,
That's true.
because we hurt differently and we don't just let it go. So
Exactly.
when you make us feel like we or when we struggle in love with you, you do better to say, my sister. Y'all, I had a guy tell me this one time. He literally told me, and I have so much respect for him to this day. He said, God told me, he said, I can't mess with you. God told me, do not mess with my daughter.
Right.
Like literally. And he said, and I want to mess with you. But
Right. Right.
God said, and I have the most respect because he knew he meant me no good. He was just in that zone.
Right. And this is why it's
And I have
imperative,
more
man.
respect for him than gosh. Because
Exactly.
again, you hurt a woman, man.
This is why it's imperative. I'm always pushing, having a conversation with them, get to know them, open them
Meaning
up.
the guy, you telling the
Exactly. I'm
ladies
telling the
to
woman
open the
to
guy
open
up,
them up. Yeah. And you open a guy up by engaging them in conversation. You
right?
open them up by engaging them in conversation, fruitful conversation, not none of this bullshit they talking about. I don't want to hear nothing about no reality show. Open me up.
And don't let the guy play the guilt trip on you as if you're not supposed to be here asking those questions or wanting,
Exactly.
because if you don't have that question, that conversation, you're gonna have the
Exactly.
other conversation, the breakup conversation, if he
That's
gives you
right.
that.
That's
If
right.
if he gives you that, because if it's that kind of struggle love,
Exactly.
the guy can move on pretty quickly.
Exactly. Pretty much.
However,
So
I must say this. I've heard so many guys, so many men say, I don't even want sex anymore.
not at all.
And to if we when we get to we just said that it's a sex story for men. If it gets to a
Yeah.
point that a guy says, I mean, it's like a dog saying, "Oh, I don't want dog food no more. I'm gonna eat cat food,"
Exactly.
and knowing like it's a bad situation that if men say, I don't even see, because that's what they're saying. I don't even see
Yeah.
women as women anymore. So I can't lay down. I don't even that just that messes me up.
Here's the
To
thing,
go
though.
there.
I don't know if your audience is familiar with this right now. The season that we're in a spiritual season right now.
Oh God.
We're in a very spiritual season right now. What I mean by that, everyone, there's a ton of people finding themselves, finding their higher selves. They're reaching the pinnacle parts of themselves that they've never been to before. We're in a pinnacle
Mhm.
point of our lives. And when you find a man that's at a pinnacle point of his life, he's hitting on all cylinders, you done found yourself a good man. So this is why I'm saying have that conversation with him, open him up. Because if he's gone to that pinnacle place, if he's reached the highest level of himself, he's gonna open up, he's gonna give you all of him. And I'm not talking
So
about
what's
physically.
what's an example of that? You and I know you said all of you. If he's how can a woman tell?
She gonna
So
see
like
that
if
light.
there are ladies here listening, and if
Here's the
I don't know
thing.
the situation,
He-
but how can they tell?
They could tell by the way this man speaks, his mannerisms, the way he speaks. When that man open his mouth, that spirit man's gonna talk for him. Real
And
talk.
this is providing you don't give them the what's the book? The book you said the you give them the platform. You tell them too much,
Yeah,
basically.
you giving
What was
them
the
all
book?
you give them the blueprint.
Blueprint. That's what you said.
You giving them the blueprint. Don't give them the blueprint, but you're gonna see that spirit man talking. You're gonna see it. The spirit man will speak for that man.
So
So,
that you
but
don't
you
get
have
the
to
representative.
exactly.
That's what
But the only way you'll be able to identify that spirit man within him, you got to be right with yourself. That's why I said in the beginning, the right man gonna show up when the right woman does. Your
hmm.
spirit man gonna see it. Your spirit man is gonna see that man the moment he opened his mouth. You gonna know. And just like I said on your program last week, you gonna know that nigga ain't right. You gonna know from the moment he opened his mouth. But when that spirit man speaks from within, and if you right with yourself, you gonna see it. It's gonna be go time.
So I have a question for my ladies. And get me, y'all. We've all had the struggle of, but
Yeah.
for me, for reasons, because I was struggling. I was struggling. I was placing, the old school tells you, we're supposed to get married, we're supposed to do this,
Right.
and that, and in this certain order. And I didn't follow the order. When I had my one, like one son, I was not married, so I didn't even follow that order. I listened,
Right.
but did not follow the order. But it was a domino effect. Like I kept struggling and struggling spiritually, in relationships and all of that, because we take in so much growing up. And I don't want to, I almost don't want to say this word, the daddy. We have our daddy issues as well. And so
Right. Right.
for me, it's so needed that we also reconcile our daddy issues.
Right.
However that looks for you.
Yeah.
However that looks for you, because I'm finding that we're, as women and men, that there's a struggle even with our parents. There's a struggle against mothers and daughters. There's a struggle with absent fatherless homes. Um and all of this. So you guys, by the time we get to the place where we meet the man, and mind you, we're already told that we're supposed to have a man, and we bought into that. And if you're a little bit late in life doing it, or if you have a baby, you already feel like you got a couple of marks, and then they say that there's a shortage of men. All this is in your head, so you feel like you have to
Honestly,
settle for the struggle of and the
yeah.
man that will put you there. And then when you get in it, now also the power struggle.
Yeah.
And then
Honestly, there's no shortage of men.
but I'm saying that you have heard
Yeah,
that,
of
especially in the
course,
black
of course,
community,
of course.
they say that there's
But he
with all
and
the men, that
right
there's a struggle for black women. That's
here's
what's
the thing though. In my opinion, there's just a ton of folks who lack the knowledge of finding themselves.
happening.
That's where it is. That's what the issue is. Everybody's walking around with blinders, male and female.
Yeah, yeah.
This is why everybody looking so far into one another. Oh no, that's not the guy. Oh no, that's not the woman. Nah, because you you haven't found yourself, stupid. Once you find yourself, I'm telling you, you're gonna see that light from that other woman. You're gonna see that light from that other man. You're gonna see it.
Because
It's not. It's not gonna be
we're
a question. It's not gonna be anything. There won't be a question mark.
picking because we kind of breezed over that, but I want to make sure we're picking men and women, but ladies, I think no, I don't think we are picking men based on their outwardly
Boom,
qualities or character, whatever it is. What kind of
boom.
car? Where does he work? How does he make me feel? And
Exactly.
not actually, not internally, but in that
Exactly.
on that pillow. You know, this game has changed, but it's still a game. It's still a
Exactly.
game. And when it comes to this what we call relationship and love, like there is no room to play cat and mouse. So you shouldn't have to play the game. You shouldn't have to fake it or treat him some kind of way. I'll tell ladies this. If you are naturally a good woman who knows how to treat her man and respect him and whatever, whatever, and vice versa, I'm not leaving the guys out, and you feel like you can't do that because he will take advantage of it or he doesn't appreciate it, guess what? That's not your man. He
Right.
doesn't deserve you. And so often we will stay and play so that we can catch him. But if you have to play to get him, to catch him, guess what you're going to have to do when you think you got him?
Pretty much.
You still have to play the game. And that's an internal turmoil there that's coming into the relationship that will cause a different kind of struggle. So, struggle love is not just about the man who doesn't have his affair together, it's more about the woman who picks the man who doesn't have his affairs together and thinks that she can change him.
That's right.
So,
Absolutely.
how much time we have? Thank you guys for the comments.
Oh, we're good.
I have a few things. Where did I put them? Okay. So, I have a few things and I need to tell you guys what site I went on to get this. I will don't let me forget that because I'd like for the people to go out and look at some of these things themselves. So let me see. It is Enlight. Let's see. What is it? Enlightio.com. What is that? That's what I just spelled. I'll put it out here in the comment section. But I want to go over just a few of them. I'm not going to do all of them. So what are good qualities to look for in a man? So we will never have the perfect guy, but remember our story about let our scars fall in love. It is the wrong, right person for you. Someone that you will look at and say, this is the problem I want to have. Because, ladies, all of them are a problem. All of y'all are a problem. Period.
Can I
All of the guys are a
can I
problem
can I
in
can I
some
add
way, shape,
something?
form, or fashion. So
Can I
you
add to
just
what
have
you
to
just said?
decide, is this the problem that I want? What?
Can I add something? Can I add this for
Absolutely.
just a quick
Absolutely.
second, right? I noticed you said look, right? That's
You
been
notice
a
I said what?
problem. I noticed you
I
said
said
look,
what?
look for the guy, right? Is that what you said? Look? Well, that's what the paper said. You said look, right?
Oh, you mean what are the good qualities to look for in a
Yeah,
man?
yeah,
Uh-huh. Okay.
yeah,
I thought you said about looks. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
And my personal opinion, that's the whole problem in itself. Looking for the qualities within the man, because I'm telling you, once you right with yourself, and that goes for male or female. Once you right with yourself, it's gonna draw you in.
No, but
You draw in
just because you're
exactly what
drawn
you
in,
need.
that doesn't mean that you don't pay attention because then you'll really
Right.
get yourself in some BS. So yes, I get what you're saying about the energy, but once that magnet draws us, it draws you in. But can we stay stuck?
There you go.
You have what I need and am looking for, but you got to know what you need and you got to know what you're looking for in the man. Like, so once
Exactly.
you draw me in, hey, is that energy now going to pull us apart, or are we so in tune with ourselves internally that, like you said, that I don't have the need to be right all the time.
No,
I want to be happy. And
I
what
want to
what do
be
you
happy
do
and I want to
to
win
right? And we want to win because if
collectively.
just
Yep,
you want to win. So again,
exactly.
that magnet can draw us in, but can that magnet sustain the energy that brought us in? And then that
Absolutely.
point, yes, you do have to keep your eyes open because again, people will play games with you. And so you have to look for that consistency. You have to look for the things. One of them is he puts you first. And I'm not saying that you're everything and you he can't do
Right.
anything or whatever, but he considers you. And not just you, other people. He's considerate. He's intelligent. And it said he's intelligent. I added this in his lane because some people think intelligent is Dr. So and so, PhD, whatever. The manager at McDonald's or dollar store can be and is just as
Right.
intelligent. So I wanted to make that clear in his lane, meaning he knows who he is, he's comfortable with what that is, and he is orderly in his spending, whatever it is he does. So because you can be intelligent and be a fool in an area of intelligence. He sees, listens, and cherishes you. However, whatever that means to you, he sees, he listens, and he cherishes you. Just how you are. Just how
Right.
you are the right wrong person for him, basically. He's a gentleman. Get it. He is a gentle man. So he's a gentleman, yes, a gentle man. And it doesn't
Absolutely.
mean he don't own his manism. Is that a word? But he's gentle because he sees and know. Again, he sees and he knows what God says about women, the woman. Um, he's open and honest. Open conversation, honest. When you see that a man is his actions are not aligning with what he's saying,
Right.
and if you're not having that conversation, it's going to be struggle love, the wrong kind of struggle love. He's good with his money. He's direct, and I said without being rude. There's come a time where you may have to be rude, but he's direct. He can say what he needs to say in the way that it in a way that he does not have to be rude, but people understand his language.
Exactly.
That's a powerful brother.
Absolutely.
He is good to others, compassion. He's a provider. Oh, and let me say this he's a provider for your needs, not the red bottom shoes,
I
unless y'all
love
can
that
afford
word.
it and you want it.
I love that word when it's used in the right context.
What
Okay.
word?
Need.
Provider. Right.
Exactly.
Because some
Need.
of y'all, I'm gonna have to say it, you can get mad at me, but it's gonna help you in the other room. It's gonna help you up there. I think I'm gonna say in the upper room. It's gonna help
Right.
you
Right.
because
Right. Right.
y'all want these men to be providers, and you talk about, well, he can't take care of me. No.
Let me
What
give you
in
like
this time he cannot take buy you red bottom shoes, $600 purses,
exactly.
your hair is $100 every week, your nails and your toes. Who can do that?
Let me give you ladies an example of the difference between a want and a need. Just real quick. I had a situation several years ago, right? And you guys familiar with the Keurig machine? You know the Keurig.
Yes.
Yeah, so I got the whole setup set up like the Starbucks and everything, right? Starbucks pods, all that stuff. Did a Starbucks station here at the house, so when she came in, everything was laid out for her, right? Big old Keurig machine, everything. So she, got home, whatever. It was cool, whatever. Every time she come out and visit, she could have her Starbucks, her daily Starbucks, because she loves Starbucks, right? So I had one up there and did one better than that. I brought Starbucks to the house when she come with a month supply, going to her, going to my house anytime she's coming over, right? So when she bought this new place, she moved in her new place, and she was talking about needing a Keurig, right? Like, hey, when you come through, take the one I bought for you here. I don't drink coffee, so you could have that one. No, I don't want that. That was a huge argument because she didn't want that Keurig. She wanted a new one. I was like, but that is new because we only used it like twice. And you guys know how much these machines cost. So it was a
Did
huge
she? So
argument,
you're
and
saying that she didn't want it because she
she
wanted a
didn't
new
want.
one?
She wanted a new one. And
I think that
hold on
it
a
was
second.
more. It was more about. It was some. It was about more than the curry.
Exactly. So my whole point is, I made the decision and mastered the art of saying goodbye. Again, I made the decision and mastered the art of saying goodbye. I was like, man, this woman's wasteful. I'll pass.
I like
Sent
master the art of saying goodbye.
mastered the art of saying goodbye. I'll pass.
Right.
Packed the Keurig up and I shipped it to her with my monthly supply. So she had 2 months over, 2 months more supply. So I made 2 months that she had. I shipped all of my Starbucks pods over to her and everything. So
Now, why would you
congratulations.
ship it if she didn't want it? Why would you go?
I wasn't gonna drink the coffee.
You
I
were
knew she
being
was gonna
petty.
utilize it at some point.
You were being petty.
Oh, you know I was.
So, okay, let's get back to this list. He has integrity. He's not afraid to show emotion. Y'all, that's a good one. I mean,
Right,
doesn't he doesn't have to cry and all of that, but he's okay with expressing his feelings.
right.
Another one that I didn't find on this list, and it could be because I didn't go through all of them. A man that can apologize, can come to you and say, "I messed up,"
Right, right.
and let it go. Um, he's positive and reliable. Look for the same values, the spirituality. Um, he loves you and values the sanctity of relationships, marriage, and family. So those are just a few. And again, I will let me put it here. So if you guys want to go, because there's quite a bit on that website. So let me do this. Let me just put it here, and you guys can, if you'd like, during your own personal time, you can look it up.
Your folks are
And that's
engaging
another
over
thing,
here,
you
man. That's
guys.
pretty good.
You when we come here and we do this, y'all don't make it in vain. Like, do the work for yourself.
Right.
Please do the work for yourself because I'm telling you, it's necessary, it's needed, and it will change your life. It will change your life. It will change the people that you allow in your life. So let me put this out. That's it.
Yeah,
So a
it's a
good man
total.
to marry.
It's a total different mindset, a totally different lifestyle. And once you turn that into a serious lifestyle, and you make that your daily task to get up using your chisel, that's an awesome feeling. The reason I can speak on that because I use my chisel every single day. I don't sit here on a high panel of judges and all this other. I don't do that. I use my chisel every single day. As Tammy can attest to this, I am a piece of work. I am not
But
perfect.
you
I
know
use
what, you
my
guys?
chisel.
If he had not, if just a year ago, probably last year summer, if he had not changed, we would not be friends. If I
Nah,
hadn't
we would
seen this was and still to a degree one arrogant, I
knock it
want to
off.
say MF, what and some more, but to see his transformation, to see his heart, what's the word for it, open
Mhm,
up,
mhm.
um and still have the ability to, that's important, you guys, to be able to open your heart but guard it at the same time. Because what, guard your heart, because out of it, and that's another reason to transform your life, because it helps you guard your heart and speak up
Exactly.
and stand up for yourself and
Exactly.
ask for the things that you need and be okay with getting just what you need. Because when you are okay and thankful for the needs, the things that you have as far as your needs, God will allow some of those things that you want to manifest in your life. But if
Say
you
it.
playing with yourself, then you're playing with your own life and you're going to
Uh-huh.
struggle in not just loving someone else, but loving yourself
That's
and
right.
seeing the love that God has for you. You're going to struggle. So if you're finding yourself in struggle love, ask yourself, is the struggle love based on the love or how I see myself, the love I have for myself? Because if when I really had to sit in the question, Tammy, do you really love yourself? When I had, and if you have to ask yourself the question, and the answer
Right.
is always going to be no. But when I had to sit in that question, my answer was no, you don't. You don't. Because when you do, there's so many things that you be like, what did you just say? The master the art
Master the art of saying goodbye.
of saying goodbye.
Yeah.
Master the art of saying no. Master the art of forgiving people and know that forgiving doesn't mean you get to come back in. Forgiving
Exactly.
means I'm setting myself free from this BS so that
Yeah.
I can move on. So master the art of
Right.
many things. And
And
I,
actually, to be honest with you guys, I mastered the art of saying goodbye to Romello because that's who was
mm,
destroying my life.
yeah. Ladies, we're going to be doing a webinar with the book
Chapter to
about
date.
Romello. I'm still kind of, and if you don't know about Romello, tell them just a tidbit about Romello. Just a
Rome-
tidbit.
Romello was
Romello was a hoe.
he was yeah, what Tammy says.
Sweet
So,
but true.
but once Karma knocked at Romello's door and continued to knock until he answered, that was the only reason he found his lesson and moved forward with getting better for himself. And it took him not only a year or two, now it was like years on top of years. It was continual growth to get to this moment now. So God had to actually place me in the wheelchair to get the lesson.
And
Blind, paralyzed, all that stuff to get the lesson. So
and you had, and well, we won't give too much, but he had a life or death situation prior
yeah,
to the stroke you had.
yeah,
Um, so it's interesting. And again, stay on the lookout for the webinar. You will
it's
have
gonna
to
be a
order
good
the
one.
book, and there is going to be a small fee. But ladies, we are going to work this thing out because we all have to start healing. And as I think about, we're going to be doing another one as well. That we're going to have some more information come on. There's an author that we're going to spotlight as well. His book is called Men Don't Heal, We Hope. On the flip side of that, we have a man that used to hope, but he started to heal. And in his healing, he also started to recognize the damage and the pain that he had left on these women, as he spoke about. And so, once you start to understand all of these things, you or understand yourself, because hoeing comes from a place of hurting. It's a mask.
Absolutely. But I have,
I
I
don't care
have
if
to
you're a woman or a
I
man,
have I have
period.
to give you your flowers before I get out of here. I have to. It's imperative that I give you your flowers because you've been in my life for a great number of years. I met Tammy when I was motivational speaking across the country, going abroad, speaking and all that stuff. Oh, I thought I had my shit together. Speaking to thousands of people, a master of filing over 100,000 people. Oh, I thought I had my shit together until I ran into someone named Tammy Gaitor, who became my life coach and told me, your shit do stink and you a hot ass mess. That's how she got me together. And I got to give you your flowers for that because I was in
And
my
I
own
said
light.
you could wrap that shit in $1 million and I would want
Exactly.
it.
I was a hot mess. I mean, I was the most sought after speaker for a very long time. When I ran into Tammy, when she showed me my mirror and gave me my mirror and helped me with my mirror, I got to give you kudos, man. You're a great coach. You're a wonderful coach. And still to this day, I still be needing that advice and whatnot. I'm not like I said again. I don't sit on a high panel of judges. I'm still a work in progress.
We all
But
are.
the
We all are.
difference is I continuously bring my chisel daily. That's the difference, folks. When you bring that chisel, that's the difference. No one can actually define who you are because you're holding your own dictionary and your chisel. That's it.
Mm, wow.
But I had to give you
So
flowers, man.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm thankful that because not everybody, you deserve the flowers as well, because you could have just turned around and continued to do what you do and how you
Right,
do it.
right.
So oh, we have another comment. I don't want to leave anybody behind here. So Miss Marilyn, let's see, gotta go. Thank you for the enlightenment. So Miss Marilyn says exactly, look for quality, know what you need. Thank
Yeah,
y'all. Yep,
that's good
you
stuff.
do. So you do have to look for it. So you
Good
guys,
stuff.
we so appreciate you guys joining us. Thank you for the comments that you've put on tonight. Move your trash can. I need somebody to say, I'm going to do that. If you're listening after the live show, come on, drop in the comments that you're going to do it and let us know how that works out for you. If you have
Exactly.
babies, if you have a spouse in the house or somebody in the house with you, have them join in and make this thing a weekly thing to where you
Exactly.
are talking about how often you return back to it. And you can't just return back without some thought.
Exactly.
Give yourself that time to think about transformation. The Bible says, "Be you transformed by the renewing of your mind." You have to you have to unlearn almost everything that you have learned, or your
Exactly.
perception of what you've learned, how you've internalized it. You have to do your work. You have to. You have to look in that mirror every day. And as my brother would say, you have to chisel away. You
Yep.
have to chisel that hurt, that pain away. So that's what we are about here. For
One
those of
last
you
thing.
who, mhm,
One last thing before I
okay.
get in. I want to remind everybody that we're streaming live on the Roku channel 24/7, 7 days a week. Relationship table talk. What's your story? Conversation with Trent and friends. 24/7, right on the Roku channel via b2gunitytv.com is the spot. Wonderful things going on with that. You guys subscribe on the Roku channel. So it's streaming all over the place, even abroad. Actually, right now it's streaming now. There's a live streaming there now. So when we actually Tammy gets off continuously 24/7, you'll see us up with these shows. Good stuff.
Thank you. And I want to, before I go, I don't do this enough, but Bluff City Leadership. So, you guys, if you
The
don't know,
assessment.
or if you know and you've not taken the profile assessment that we offer, you need to. If you are thinking about where am I, if you have questions, and maybe you don't, because when I took
Right.
it, I knew that something was off in my life. I just knew that I kept ending up in these places. But when I took this assessment, it answered questions for me about me that I did not know that I had. It brought such clarity and understanding. But with that clarity and understanding, I then had to go to work. So it was almost as if, you know, how you get a new job and it
Hmm.
might be in something that you did, but they still have their own SOPs, standard
Yep.
operating procedures. You
Yep.
still have to be trained to do what you think you know to do. So that's what this did for me. It brought about clarity, enough clarity and understanding to give me the foundation to build my house. And I
Exactly.
said to someone, and this is when I really knew that this thing was so awesome. I said, I feel like I have my Bible, that God wrote this Bible and He gave it for all of us. But here it is. And when I took this, He said, this is the book of Tammy. This
It's a
is the
powerful
book of
tool,
Tammy.
man.
It
That
is so
assessment is
powerful
it's
that
powerful,
I've
very
had people
powerful.
taking it and they just cry because it's like, oh wow,
It's
this is
cleansing.
so me, but I didn't know that I was missing this piece of me.
Yeah.
So go over bluffcityleadership.com. Take the assessment. I promise you, you will get so much out of it. And then I will do your coaching part for free. I will give you one coaching session just to briefly go over the assessment. And if you want more, we'll talk about that. But in addition to that, we have what we call introducers. You can become an introducer, meaning that you can tell people, you have your own link, you do your own thing there. When people, you lead them to that link, and then they take the assessment, pop, you get paid.
Exactly.
Period.
It's a
You get paid
powerful
for them
tool,
taking it.
folks.
So this is a way that you can't unpack the assessment unless you want to become a certified coach. You can connect with me about that as well.
Right.
Um, let me know. But please, we got another comment. I'm also a certified coach for Prepare and Enrich. Um, this is more about couples, whether you're divorcing, and separated, have kids. This one too is so extensive now. The assessment through Bluff City, it may take you 20-25 minutes. This one, it will take you an hour
Ladies and
plus. It
gentlemen,
digs so deep into your childhood. It's insane.
exactly. Ladies and
So,
gentlemen, I keep nudging this lady to that cliff. To this woman is a phenomenal coach. She don't toot her own horn, man. I wanted to toot on. I mean, she's a phenomenal coach. And I'm not just
right,
saying that. I'm not just saying it. It's a powerful tool. I
it
took
is.
the assessment, went through it. I did everything that she said. I did that, and I'm telling you, this woman is a powerful motivator. She just don't promote it enough.
I don't. I really
She
don't.
don't.
And I need to do better. You guys, I often, and we'll let you guys go, I often feel like people don't, and it breaks my heart to know or to feel like people don't want this. They
But
want
that's
the
why.
superficial things. Like you'll go, people will go and pay dollars and dollars and
Exactly.
dollars for things that are only gonna make them want to keep buying them. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I go back to the book. What it is to gain the world but lose your soul, and that's what we're walking around, and our souls feel lost.
And
We're
this is
not
why we
connected.
continuously. This is why we should continuously strike that iron.
That's
Something
right.
found a spark. I'm telling you. This stuff. I'm telling you. This stuff is working. It's
So head over
working.
to
Boom.
bluffcityleadership.com. If you missed that, then send me a message and I'll tell you how to take it. But if you go there, you can take the assessment. And if you take it, send me a message. I'll know, but send me a message and say that you would like the free consultation coaching part that comes with it, and we'll take it from there. Um, but do something for your soul, do something for your spiritual growth, do something that will help your heart open, but give you the ability to also guard it without being sorry,
That's right.
because that's what makes us better together. Cannot say that enough. So, you're going to be on tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Are you guys
Tomorrow.
on tomorrow?
Yeah, we're doing some gumbo talk tomorrow. So gumbo
Okay.
talk is what we actually just choose a topic and go for it. So
Okay. So if you guys have some time, and want to head over and check them out, please do so. Show your support there. And I think that's all for me.
yeah, it was a good one, man. Real good one.
All right. So this has been our struggle love conversation. Ladies, you do not have to settle. There is always going to be a little struggle,
Yeah,
but make sure it's worth the person that you said to yourself and him that this is my right, wrong person.
yeah.
And I'm signing up for this. Make sure that they're signing up for it as well. Look for those
And if you
qualities that we talked about.
exactly, and if you guys, one more thing, if you guys actually missed the broadcast, want to see exactly all the great coaching Tammy have given you guys tonight, in about 20 minutes, it'll be on demand at b2gunitytv.com. It'll be on demand. So you go down to the link, you'll find her. She'll be there in 20 minutes.
that we have, not just me, we have better
Better
together, right?
together.
Better together, better together.
Good stuff. Good
So
stuff.
thank you guys. It's been a great night. We have taken you over the time, so we apologize for that. Appreciate you as always. Love you, and you can't do nothing about it. Have a great night.
Good stuff.